to the Token and Hobbs Show on the Roads to Liberty Network.
Good evening, everybody. You're listening to the Roads to Liberty podcast live. It's a Monday night, and I'm your host, Token, joined with my fabulous partner in crime, Ben Backus, over there. And today we have a special guest for y'all. He's a friend of the show. He's been on the show 2-3 times by now. It's been quite a few times. He ran for chair of the Libertarian National Committee in 2018. He's presently serving as an at-large member on that committee. He's the chair of the LP Affiliate Committee, and he's running for chair once more in 2020. The one, the only, Joshua Smith. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So when I heard that you were running for chair again, I thought to myself, man, we've got to get you on again. This guy had a long road in 2018, ended in disappointment, and here he is willing to put himself through that ringer once again. So I got to ask you, do you just like...
What's wrong with me?
Yeah, what is the matter with you?
You know, I don't know, man. I care very deeply about this party. I don't think that anyone can contest that at this point, you know, and I made lots of mistakes last year. I didn't really know what I was doing, you know. When I issued my challenge to Nicholas Sarwark, that's exactly what it was. It was a challenge. I didn't see anybody stepping up. And so I said, you know, I called several people. I had reached out to Larry and said, hey, man, you got to run for chair. And everyone was like, no. You know, and so I was like, well, you know, at the time I was working closely with Think Liberty, and we had, you know, probably a 7,000 to 12,000 person following, and I was like, well, I'm going to put out a intent to run statement, see what happens, and man, I never expected it to blow up like that, you know, and so I rode the wave, and I learned everything that I could, but I didn't always do everything right, and I feel like I have the opportunity to do the correct things now. I have the you know, the wherewithal, and I've learned being on the committees and working with people that are actually in leadership. You know, I serve on all 3 levels of leadership now. I'm, you know, I'm the county treasurer, I'm the state party at large, and I'm a national at large. So I know all about the ins and outs of the party now, and I still have that same fire. And once again, it was, you know, it's national convention, and I've always said I wouldn't up that could do a better job than me, and so.
Well, I think it's great you're still around. I'll be honest with you. I was at that convention. I didn't vote for you. Oh, we have some tech problems with Josh. He's frozen. What is going on with this night? There, he's back. Are you there, man?
Yeah, I've been here, man. I didn't go nowhere.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't vote for you that first convention. So mainly for the reasons you stated, that, you know, you obviously didn't know what was going on. It seems like you know what you don't know now. At least, is that how you would say it is?
Yeah, sure. I've learned a lot, you know, and you know, a lot of people's problems with me last year were I didn't know how to handle criticism, and that was correct. I didn't. I had no idea what I was doing when it came to being criticized. You know, I was, like I said, I was very new to that process. I knew how to lead a meeting. You know, that was one thing people were, do you even know how to run a meeting? I was like, I showed up to Oklahoma. I showed up to the Oklahoma State Convention and on 15 minutes notice led their entire business meeting, you know? And so I know that part, but I didn't know how to take criticism correctly. You know, I was still really fired up and hyped up, and I clapped back at everybody. And that actually showed in my national debate last year. You know, I kind of took debate on stage, and everyone knows that I failed, and even I knew that I failed. And, you know, there's a story that I was told, Larry, you know, I did debate prep with Larry Sharp, and I didn't really listen to him very well, but he was in the back of the room while we were debating, and Matt Welch walked up to him and said, hey, how do you think he's doing? And Larry said, he's done. That's it. And he was right, you know.
When you don't listen to Larry Sharp, that's problem number one. So besides that, what do you think you'll do differently in this run, besides listen to everything Larry Sharp says this time.
Well, I've made a commitment to not get in the mud with people. We know there's going to be detractors during my campaign. It's going to happen. People are going to call me out for all the same things they called me out for last year, and I'm just going to prove that I have grown and learned, and that I do have the best interests of the party at heart, and I'm not going to get out there and sling mud back at people. I went hard last year, and it was real rough on me. If you knew me at the beginning of the campaign and then saw me at the end of the campaign, I looked like a different person. It was a stressful year, and I don't have the capacity to do that anymore. I only want to do what's right for the party. So
that's always been bizarre to me that one of Nick's big things, everybody's like, well, he runs a meeting. I mean,
it's true.
It's not that hard, honestly. And once you learn enough about running meetings, you realize that Nick does screw up there sometimes.
Yeah, everybody screws up. Look, Robert's Rules is a thick book. I know. For the last 2 years, I've been falling asleep reading it. And it's a big book and it's a lot to learn. But we always have a parliamentarian there to reference. And in fact, as the chair of the party, you don't have to run the convention. You can hire a parliamentarian to run the convention. Which I almost think is a better idea, because then you don't have your own personal bias up on stage. But it's anybody can learn how to run a meeting. It's just how it is. He's just very good at being sharp-witted, but so are a lot of the rest of us. So right. It's and I've worked closely with Nick over the last year. He's a good guy. He does run a good meeting. I generally think that the majority of the time his heart's in the right place, but he's got his fundamental issues that I disagree with, and that's why I'm running.
So last time around, you were kind of the outsider trying to get in. This time, you would have served 2 years from the inside. So do those 2 years of experience give you a different taste of what problems exist in the LP that you can fix, like stuff you didn't know before, that now that you have a better understanding of how things work, you can better tackle issues going forward?
Are you saying he's part of the swamp now, or what?
We're all in the same swamp.
Trust me, I'm still very much the anti-establishment candidate. I promise. I've really gotten into this voting block with about 6 other people that are great on the LNC that see the need for change. But 6 people, 7 people is not enough to really change everything when you need a 50% vote or a 2/3 vote for a censure motion, or, it's just not enough. And so we haven't talked about running some big slate or anything, but I'd like to see people step up that want to change things the way that I do. But as far as my goals have not changed much, I still see the need for aggressive marketing. I still see the need for a better, social media presence. I still see the need for, traveling and doing these press conferences and the same things that I talked about before that we just have been historically bad at, and I just can see them much closer now. But yeah, we still argue about the same things. We have a board now that's not content to protect the brand from bad actors, which I think is a bad thing. This whole censure of Ben letter that I talked about, that I put forward, that wasn't about a personal vendetta. That was about,
dude's weird.
Well, it's, Timothy McVeigh called himself a libertarian, and when he blew up the Oklahoma City building, our party had to defend that for years, and I don't want to have that situation again. If somebody's going to talk about blowing up a convention, or if someone's going to talk about unarmed children being enemy combatants and beating up anti-war protesters at our own convention and killing liberals and putting them in contractor bags on the sidewalk, then I want to make sure that people know that the party condemns that kind of speech, and especially from a candidate that's trying to run for our presidential nomination. I mean, that's huge. That guy may find himself on CNN or Fox or RT or anywhere, talking about this stuff, and he's going to say, and I'm a presidential hopeful for the Libertarian Party of the United States, and it's going to be like, what?
Well, the thing about that situation is that people are like, oh, well, you're going to turn him in, you filthy statist or whatever. So then it gets to the point. All right. Well, at what point does comments like that get an ass beat? I mean, if you're not going to turn them in,
Right. Well, I never talked about calling the police on Ben Letter. I never talked about turning him into the FBI. That's just not, it's pretty against my own principles unless somebody is already aggressed or is actually aggressing on somebody. But that kind of speech we can condemn. We have the right to condemn that. He's got the right to free speech. We have the right to condemn that speech and say that's not what we stand for in the Libertarian Party, and that's what a censure motion is for.
Speech is free, but speech isn't without consequences.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, here's the thing that I always get, and I'm sure you hear it too, because it's a pretty common reaction when you bring up issues like this is, oh, you're only giving him attention. If you just let it go, then he won't get any attention and he'll just magically go away and slither off into a corner, which I always found to be a pretty ridiculous response myself, because I want to be proactive in something like that. Say he does end up on the debate stage at convention. Say that does happen, and he ends up giving an interview on CNN or whatever. Then we can already say at that point, hey, we already condemned this guy. He does not represent us. Here's what we did 6 months ago, condemning this. So
sure.
Yeah.
Or if he does try to blow up our convention, or if he does start killing liberals in Texas, or if he does start going after children as enemy combatants. I mean, we need to make sure that the general public knows that the Libertarian Party is against that. That is not what we stand for. We are not here to commit aggressive acts of violence on peaceful people. You know what I mean? And I feel like the LNC really dropped the ball on that hugely.
Why? So the motion was voted on for censure, and it failed. What were the reasons for that failure?
The reason that you stated was a big one. If we give this any more airtime than it needs, then we're just going to make him a more controversial figure. A couple people were worried about a slander suit, which is actually because of the public figure laws with somebody running for president that he couldn't. First of all, he's not going to sue us for slander for a censure motion. Second of all, he's just not going to sue us for slander because he can't. That was a big one. I think, to be honest with you, I gotta be 100% honest with you. I think a lot of people voted no because I put the motion forward, which is fine. That's okay. I know that there's at least one other member of the LNC that's probably thinking about running for chair, and that person likes to go out of their way to make their responses to my motion about me, but that's okay. I just think it was a ball drop. It wasn't about me. Some people outside the LNC was saying that I was trying to get famous off the back of Ben Letter. Like, no, that's not like, I don't know if you know this, Ben, but I'm not running for president and I have a bigger following than you. And I don't need to get famous off of that. I just want to protect the brand. I want to protect the party that I care about, that I put all my, I put 80% of my free time into this party and probably 90% of my expendable income. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The only reason I know of him is because of some of the wacky comments he made, and somebody shared them somewhere, and I read them and went to his website, and it was a joke. So
yeah, if anyone out there is wondering what it is we're talking about, the Fakertarians Facebook page did a great job in publishing a lot of the craziness he's been involved in. He's equated the children of anti-Second Amendment activists as enemy combatants and argued that it would be justified to use violence on them. He's unarmed children. Yeah, because they're the children of anti-Second Amendment activists. This makes them guilty by association and justifies violence against this. These are the arguments that he has made. He's been caught on tape making some very vile, violent threats against people. He's not all there. He's a pretty crazy guy, and I thought it was a good idea to put forward a censure motion, and I'm upset that it didn't pass. For whatever reason, this guy deserved to be censored.
There's a lot of people, man, that are really upset about that, and I hope I hope that people will take into account the names of the people who voted against the censure motion to protect this brand when they step onto that delegate floor to make votes. Because at the end of the day, this is your party. This is your brand. This is the party that you put your activism and your free time and your money towards. And you should have elected representatives that are going to protect the brand that you care about, period.
Well, and now they're worked up over a Facebook page. Is that what I saw today?
Yeah, which is the most ironic and hypocritical thing I've ever seen in my life. So we're so cool about this censure motion and don't really care about these aggressive, violent threats. But heaven forbid some shitposting internet troll makes a meme page making fun of the LP marketing, because now we're going to sue them, and if they don't take down our branding, and that's the end of the Libertarian Party because of this meme page with 120 followers. It just blows my mind. The prioritizing there is just insane to me. I mean, absolutely insane. Like, first of all, we should look at that page and wonder why people would mix their marketing up with ours. That should be the first big slap in the face for us. Is why would anybody conflate that with our page and think about that going forward when we make internet posts? Right?
I'll be honest. The first time I saw the post from that page, my first thought was, what are those dumbasses at National doing this for? National's marketing is so bad. When I saw the satire post by that website, I thought it was real.
Yeah.
So you're right, that they should try and figure out why people think it's real.
It needs to be a self-reflective meme page for us. That's what it needs to be. And look, I don't know who started the page, even though people have tried to say it's me, it's the Mises Caucus, it's libertarians that support MAGA Trump. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? But no, it needs to be a self-reflective time for us, that people would conflate that page with our own marketing. And marketing something that I've talked about heavily, and it's something that I'm working on now. And I've been blessed with the chance to chair the affiliate support committee. And these are some of the best people in the party when it comes to coalition building and marketing. And it's Aaron Adams, who you're very familiar with, I'm sure. It's Pat Ford, who's amazing, who's one of the craziest, loudest activists, actually does one of the most watched news shows in the Rhode Island, New England area, and does libertarian stuff on live broadcast. It's David Demarest, your own David Demarest, who is amazing at coming up with ideas, and Richard Longstreth, who's a crazy, awesome radical, and John Phillips Jr., and Stephen Nikela, who's a young guy, super financially motivated, and just so it's a really good team for marketing. And we've decided that we're just going to start doing marketing for the party, and there's nothing in any bylaw says we can't do that. And so I know that you guys have seen the video that I put out for the current marketing scheme that we're trying to run, but the hashtag LP everywhere. And we put together with Christian Malazarte, we put together like an actual good, well-produced video with a good monologue and a good hashtag on it, and are creating a contest that is going to get us media all over the country. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was a very well done video. I saw that thing. I'm like, there's no way National put this together. This isn't the kind of thing that comes out of LP National. But yeah, it was slick. It was professional. It was well done. So tell us a bit about this LP hashtag LP everywhere, because watching the video and seeing all the different activist photos go up, a couple from Nebraska, I might add. I saw both Douglas and Lancaster County represented there. So tell us about this contest, because it looks really interesting. Sure.
Look, there's a whole side of this party that never gets represented in the media, that never gets represented on Facebook, and it's the activists. It's the people who go out into their communities with their signs and their ballot access petitions and their candidate signs, and they work. It's free work. I mean, these people are working for free. Some of our ballot access petitioners get paid, but it's few and far between. But that side never gets represented in the media, and so people get what is called activist burnout. I've seen it in the last year. I've seen probably 30, 40 people say, I can't do this anymore. It's too much. We're not getting anywhere. National's not helping me. My state affiliate's not helping me. It's just too much. Can't do this. They walk away. They never come back. They take their ideas with them. You know, there's no activist continuity. So I thought this would be a fun way to pump up our activism, maybe get us some more media. It gives us tons of pictures and files and videos and earned media to put on the website, to put on the Facebook. And the cool thing is some small affiliate in North Dakota can put together the best activist file and send it over to us and win $1,000 for their affiliate. It's probably more than they've had all year. You know what I mean? And so it was a really, really cool idea that Erin Adams actually came up with. She actually, it was her initial idea, and then we all kind of just brain powered together and figured out how we were going to put it out. And, you know, I kind of just took the lead on the video with Christian. I asked Christian, hey man, if I put together a monologue, would you be able to put out a nice video? He was all about it. And I think he got it done in 2 days, you know?
He did that in 2 days.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And I literally recorded that monologue on my phone in my shop at work. It's just, you know, it's simple little things that we can do like that are going to look crisp and clean and get us some attention. And so I'm really proud to chair the affiliate support committee and be a part of that team, because they got great ideas. And I think together we're going to change the face of marketing for LP National. So
I think it's a great idea, because you can take, I mean, there's all these affiliates are doing things right. So you can take all that and distill it down at national and get it out to the other affiliates. Because I mean, as you're aware, the LPs run like a confederacy, and every affiliate's kind of doing their own thing for what works where they're at.
Sure. Well, that's another cool thing is this is like a marketing continuity scam, right? So so we have now reached out to all 50 affiliates with one video and said, hey, let's turn this into a giant marketing thing, right? And so like now everyone's going to work together. Everyone's going to want to work together and figure out ways, you know, county's going to be like, hey, what are you guys doing this weekend? Hey, what are you doing this weekend? You know what I mean? And it may not be like completely the same thing, but people are going to start seeing each other's activism. They're going to start getting ideas about things. They're going to start doing things that way, or other, you know, or teaching people stuff. And I just think it's a really, really good thing for us. You know, our party is built on the backs of the hardest working activists in the country, maybe the world. You know, and we need to highlight that and help them out at every turn. And I just think it's a really good idea to do that. And we're working on some other things on the ASC too, a coalition of media. I don't know if you've heard anything about that. Pat's been working on building an actual coalition of libertarian media, so that we have lists and we can make rounds on podcasts with certain candidates and all kinds of cool stuff. And then John Phillips Jr. got some stuff together to do affiliate building continuity, you know, so like, you know, we can just send like a file or a packet to someone who wants to start a new county or state affiliate or whatever, a new county affiliate, just send it right over him and give them all their steps. They have all the paperwork already. They just have to put their name on it, you know? And so just little stuff like that's going to make it a lot easier on our activists is stuff that the National Party should have been doing for the last 40 years.
Yeah, I remember back at the Omaha convention, the first time we had you on the show, I asked you, are you going to make my job as an affiliate more difficult? And no, yeah, at the time we had a certain former vice chair who's now running for president, who was making the job of affiliates more difficult.
Sure.
You know, and willfully doing it, and not even caring about it. So it's good to see people in National who are not going to sabotage the efforts of the people on the ground, going door to door, doing most of the work. I like the changes I'm seeing at National, and I hope it continues. That's all we wanted to talk about with you today. Do you have a website or anywhere that people can go to if they want to get a hold of you or learn more information?
Sure. Well, you can always go and check out my Joshua Smith LNC at large page. You know, I think there's about 3,000 followers on there or something now. And message me on there. I know there's a Joshua Smith for LNC chair 2020 page that I may or may not be a part of now, but I wasn't a part of back then when it was drafting page. And then obviously my personal profile, but Jeff, definitely check out, the video for LP Everywhere. It's I think it's a really well done video, and it'll get you hyped up on doing some activism for the rest of summer. And you have till November 5th to submit your submissions to LP Everywhere at lp.org. LP everywhere at lp.org. Yeah. And if you see anybody else from the affiliate support committee, please give them a round of applause. They're amazing people.
Should we go like your parody page too?
Yeah, that's not mine, buddy. but it has been a very good reflection for me, you know, and I mean that. I when I first saw it, I was mad. I was really mad. I was like, oh, this is bullshit. You know, this is wrong. Oh my God. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, you know, people probably think that this is actually our page for a reason.
Yeah, guilty.
And we really need to think about what that reason is and start trying to change the things that make them feel that way, because it wouldn't take much and it'd still be very libertarian to do so.
Well, plus that page is really funny. So.
I will neither confirm nor deny that right now.
Hey,
Go
you
check
did
it.
the position thing,
Go
though.
check it out, guys. It's really funny. Just remember, it's parody. It's not real. So don't get all pissed off when you see it.
It actually says parody on the page too. So it's not like they're trying to fool you. You just it's so hard to tell the difference that they fooled you.
All right, everyone. I think we're up against a 30-minute time. Sorry for starting late tonight. We had some technical difficulties getting the show started, but this was a very awesome conversation. I'm so glad that we could finally sit down with you and have this conversation. And I look forward to seeing the things that you can do going forward. Thank you, Josh, for coming on.
Hey, thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Yep, see you, Josh.